Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Uh, I am Felipe Rodriguez, and I was here last week talking with Danny Jimenez from Argentina, and now it's my turn to interview a very good athlete and very famous athlete called Claire Cashmore. She'll be joining us in a little bit, and I'm really looking forward to talk to her. It's going to be a really interesting talk and chat. So yeah, let's see if she's here. Uh, Hope everybody's all right.
Hello.
Hey Claire, hi.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Very glad that you made in time.
Well, I'm very glad you texted me to tell me because literally had food all down my face about 5 minutes ago.
It could always be worse. It could always be worse. We know how it is.
Yeah, definitely. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, thank you. Very happy. Weather here is all right. Very sunny, but slightly cold. Not as cold as the UK,
I was
but
going to say, when you say cold, what does that mean?
it means about 15 to, no, actually 11 to 20 degrees, depending on the time of the day. So
Oh, okay, so it is actually
it's quite
warm
chilly, yeah.
there.
It's quite chilly, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it's very nice. Thank you very much for being here with us here and like sharing a little bit of your story. I feel like I actually feel like a reporter here, and that's very weird.
Wearing
It's out of my
sunglasses and looking sophisticated.
it's actually out of my comfort zone. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
You'll be good. It's good to be on the other end of it and see what it's like to be on the other
True that, but
side.
that means I can be annoying with you though. No, but I promise I'm not gonna be annoying. Don't worry about it. So,
I'm leaving now.
so first of all, Claire, thank you so much. Introduce yourself for the people watching us.
So I am Claire Cashmore. I have competed at 4 Paralympic Games as a swimmer. And then since Rio, I've actually switched to the world of paratriathlon. So I was an S9 in swimmer, and now I'm a PTS5 in triathlon.
That's so cool. And Claire, how did you get into swimming, first of all?
So I actually hated the water. I was pretty petrified of the pool. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Really?
And then we moved to Dubai when I was 5 years of age. So obviously you're surrounded by water. So I was encouraged to spend as much time in there as possible to try and get used to it. And then before I knew it, you know, I found my love for it. And then, yeah, when it came back to the UK, missed swimming. So joined a swimming club and then found out about disability swimming. And it kind of went from there, really. And, you know, before I knew it, a few years later, I was selected to compete in Athens at age 16 at the Paralympic Games, which was definitely throwing me in the deep end. So it was, yeah, pretty scary for this time.
And tell us a little bit about your disability.
So I have one arm, so I was born like this. So yeah, it's pretty simple. It's nice and easy in terms of being classified. Generally, race obviously all people with one arm or one leg. So yeah, nothing exciting to tell there. I used to tell shark attack stories, but everyone will have probably heard that before. So yeah, I'm gonna stick to the truth on this one.
Well, like we know each other for quite a bit now, but I never knew that you went to live in Dubai when you're young.
Wow.
That's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Right? Much nicer climates than here.
Oh, definitely.
Hey, you know you love the UK, really.
I don't really love the UK. I love something else. Somebody in the UK, but not the UK actually. But yeah, and like tell us a little bit how actually was your childhood as a disabled person. Of course, you were born with this disability. You didn't get this disability through your life. So tell us a little bit how was your childhood and until you actually become the person you are now?
Yeah, so I think I have always been a pretty determined person. I've never really let anything stand in my way. I was really lucky to have amazing parents that didn't mollycoddle me, didn't treat me any differently to my sisters, and just kind of threw me into everything and almost watched me struggle, which sounds really awful, but they just didn't make any excuses for me, which resulted in me growing up really independently and, you know, not letting my disability stop me in any way. The only thing is, during my teenage years, I was super self-conscious. You know, I hated the fact that I was different. And as a teenager, you're pretty self-conscious anyway, but the fact that I stuck out like a sore thumb and, you know, got some pretty horrible comments from people that just made me really upset. So I hid it. I completely, like, I had a sleeve over the top of it all times. And the best thing for me was actually swimming, because it was the only time I couldn't hide. And I just remember going to the Paralympic Games in Athens and just seeing so many people with so many different disabilities and just not caring about what people thought. And that was actually the real turning point for me. It was the kind of point where I was like, you know what? Why do I care about what people think so much? And actually, let's be comfortable within my own skin.
And how old were you in Athens?
I was 16.
16 years old.
So, yeah, and then I literally came home and I started at a new school down in Devon, Kelly College, a particular kind of sporting college. And I was like, right, complete change. I'm not wearing a long sleeve jumper all the time. I'm actually going to take my jumper off and wear a string top. And it was pretty scary, but it was the most liberating feeling to like actually finally feel comfortable.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's, you know, I suppose we all do it in different ways, don't we? And you probably have a completely different story to me. It was kind
of similar mine, you know. But like, let me just ask you one thing. At any point in your childhood, have you ever thought of having like a prosthetic arm to try to hide your disability?
So I did actually wear a prosthetic arm when I was young, but obviously prosthetic arms then in comparison to now are very different. Back then it was really heavy and really hot and sweaty, particularly living in Dubai. You know, used to just every time.
Well, you're living 40 degrees.
Well, exactly. And it just used to make like farting noises all the time. And I was just like, gosh, like, this is so embarrassing being in class and I've been trying to take it off and make farting noises.
Yeah, but fart from you is not very, it's not much a surprise.
It was my arm, not.
That's really cool though. And like, so pretty much when you got into the power sport, you actually just like, you know what, I'm just gonna live my life the way I am.
Yeah, I kind of felt like back then they weren't so useful and they weren't so functional. So I was kind of like, well, why am I wearing something just to literally hide my arm? And it doesn't even look like my other arm because it was just a completely different skin color and everything. Whereas now the way prosthetics have gone is absolutely incredible. And I have worn one for when I switched to triathlon, being on the bike. I had a particular bike prosthetic made. But I actually have found that I'm slightly better just because I'm not used to it. Like, I'm better just using my stump and resting it on the bike rather than having something attached to me, because I just felt like it was an extra bit which I was not used to at all.
It was kind of like uneven.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. It really was.
It's so weird, isn't it? Because you're like you try to adapt yourself with some extra attachments to make it equal, but you're so used to your disability, so used to that, like that missing part, that you actually adapt yourself even better than like with some attachments. That is really cool though.
Yeah,
and like you,
it's like, what is this thing? It's getting in the way rather than actually it's meant to help me.
Yeah, it's
like just flinging it around thinking, I don't know what to do with this.
It's funny, isn't it? Like you're saying, technology is right there to help us and assist us, but sometimes just being all natural is the
simplicity is definitely
the way forward.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and like coming back to swimming, what was the highlight of your swimming career overall?
Oh, it's such a tough one. Like, I think, and you'll know.
You can tell us a little bit. You can tell us more than one, of course.
Do you really want to be here all night?
We have an hour, yeah. So.
Yeah, no, I think you'll completely understand this one. But obviously, competing in London in front of a home crowd was the most incredible thing ever. You know, just walking out of that tunnel, and I remember as soon as the doors opened, the stadium erupted, and it was just that noise, and the noise level was incredible, and you almost felt like the roof was going to lift off. It was that noisy. And then,
I,
like,
I,
as soon as
I got goosebumps just
yeah,
to hear it. Yeah.
it's incredible, and I just feel so lucky that that came around within my sporting career. So to obviously medal there in front of a home crowd was pretty special, and no matter what you did, they were just so proud of you. But then obviously winning the gold medal in Rio, again. Even though it wasn't a home crowd, an absolutely amazing crowd. Like the Brazilians definitely know how to party, as you all know, and they were just
I don't know what you're talking about.
So yeah, no, I definitely, you know, winning that gold medal in the relay was pretty fantastic, and up until that point I'd never won a gold medal at the Paralympics. I'd always kind of missed out. The silver surfer, the bridesmaid, whatever you want
I
to
know
say.
what it's like.
Exactly.
We have that in common.
So to finally get that, you know, elusive gold medal was pretty incredible. And just to be able to sing your national anthem and stand on that podium wearing your Team GB kit is something that I was super, super proud of. So yeah.
That's cool. And have you got any idol, like any icon that made a big difference in your life?
I always find that one a really hard question, actually, and I think I've almost looked for certain characteristics within so many different people, and you know, being inspired by that. And I think just the Paralympic movement as a whole, seeing so many incredible athletes achieving so many incredible things and not letting any disability stand in their way has probably actually been the biggest motivator for me when I was growing up. Because I was like, well, if they can do it, you know, I definitely can. I've got a lot more or a lot less or whatever, and just kind of being inspired by all the people that we're surrounded with. So yeah, there's not one specific person. It's the multitude of the whole Paralympics. You know, I'm so passionate to be able to call myself a Paralympian, like I'm sure you are too.
And change a little bit of the questions, because I sent you a few of them, but one of them just came out for me. And what is the Paralympic sport means to you? What being a Paralympian means to you?
Oh, like, I think it's something that's probably quite hard to put into words, because there's such a select few people that actually become Paralympians. And probably one of my biggest bugbears is actually when people call themselves a Paralympian and they haven't been to the Paralympics, and I'm like,
Just
no.
because they have a disability and then
Yeah,
Paralympic athletes.
exactly. And that's the thing, there's a big difference between a para athlete, Paralympic athlete,
Yes.
and, you know, somebody that's got a disability. So it's a real special label that you get only if you actually get to go to the Paralympics. And yeah, it's something that I am so proud about. And I think seeing the way the Paralympics has changed since 2004, and the way it's developed and it's grown and it's just got bigger and bigger and better, it is amazing. And I feel so proud to be part of that movement. And, you know, particularly London really put Paralympic sport on a pedestal, and, you know, did a lot of good for inspiring people with a disability, I suppose.
That's cool. And in between 2004, which was your first Paralympics, and Rio, which was your latest one so far, what was the biggest difference in between those games?
So
For you actually.
So for me, I think, well, 2004, nobody really knew about the Paralympics. You know, I think we had probably about 4 hours of coverage. We had very little coverage anyway, so nobody really knew what was going on. There wasn't the hype. And Beijing, being your first Paralympic Games, you'll probably remember they pretty much were paying people to come into the stadiums to try and fill the stadium.
They're paying schools to bring the kids to watch us and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, you know, London was just, I think originally people were like, oh, well, we haven't got tickets to the Olympics, so we'll try and get tickets for the Paralympics. But then they actually fell in love and they were like, this is the most incredible thing. We love this and we want to be more involved. But also, like, I don't know if you saw, but we had a massive Superhuman campaign, and I just think that created such a positive, and Channel 4 just did an amazing job at, you know, just making it as accessible, and people wanted to watch so much of it and got really excited and really got behind it. And then I
Well,
feel like the momentum carried on for Rio.
like even for example, for you guys that you were there, you felt that way, and like I can tell you in the Brazilian way, for example, when we got into London in 2012, we saw all the campaign, all the marketing and advertisements. We were like, oh my God, this is so big in here.
Yeah.
And like we were people from abroad, you know,
Yeah.
we could feel that enthusiasm from the British crowd and the British media, like actually pushing hard for people to embrace that environment and that games, which worked really well. I remember when I saw one of my events in London when I came out, and they someone from the BBC, I guess, came to interview me, and they were like, "What do you think about these games?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm not British. I'm actually feeling this crowd like unbelievably,
Yeah.
you know, how can I say unbelievable, you know, like an unbelievable atmosphere. I
Yeah.
had no idea how it's gonna be in Rio, you know, so but like, and I'm from a different country. I cannot imagine. I can now because I've been to Rio.
Yeah.
I know what you felt like, but it was just such an amazing experience, and like I think it's that is gonna be with you for the rest of your life, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think even going on to Rio, you could definitely see that there was still so much excitement and such like it was such a different experience to London in the sense that there was like a massive party atmosphere, which I think was incredible because I felt really relaxed and I was like, I'm at the biggest games of my life, but I feel really relaxed because just the way the Brazilians are so friendly and they really made you feel so welcome and wanted to cheer everybody on. So yeah, I think they've been all so different, but in such amazing ways.
Uh-huh. Like each games are different, yeah, and each game has the like best and the worst things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like
The highs
it
and the lows.
always happens. Like yeah, exactly. And what made you actually switch sports, like from swimming to triathlon, as you are now a triathlete?
Yeah, so I suppose the truth is behind it is after Rio, I actually got told that I didn't have any potential, and I was too old.
That's rough.
I know it was pretty tough to take, to be fair, but you know they basically said we think by the time 2028 comes or 2024, no 2020. Oh my gosh, can't even think of
2021.
that we don't think that you have enough potential to move it on and you're too old, and basically so my funding got cut, which was pretty tough to take, and obviously it was pretty disappointing when I'd just come back and won a gold and silver medal. So I was like, right, okay, what do I want to do? So I took a few months to kind of decide exactly what it was I wanted. Did I want to carry on swimming and just not be supported? Did I want to go into triathlon, which has always been something I've really wanted to do? Or did I just want to become a normal person and go into the real world? And I really took that time out to kind of make sure I was making the right decision. I didn't want to just jump into another sport just because I didn't know what else to do. So after, a good amount of time just chilling out, traveling around Brazil, doing absolutely nothing, I decided that triathlon was definitely what I wanted. And yes, I made the switch in February 2017, and the best decision. I absolutely love it. And I'm not really sure how I spent so many hours in the pool. I felt like it's so boring.
I know what it's like.
Shouldn't say that, should I? I love it.
No, I keep telling the people that the same, you know, like sport, like swimming for leisure is amazing,
Yeah.
you know, but like for like high level sport is boring.
Yeah.
You either love it or you either hate it.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, you know that you have to do it to train, and you know that you have to do it to compete at the level we want to compete at, and that's the thing. But yeah, it's definitely when I go to the pool now, I'm like, oh gosh, how did I do
Yeah, because you still have to swim on triathlon, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the thing. But I don't do, the crazy 2-hour sessions 10 times a week, 6-7K sessions. It's very much like 3-4K in and out, boom, you're done.
Oh, I used to hate these kind of sessions. I'm a sprinter.
I know. Well, exactly. So was I, but I still did crazy distances.
Oh no, I just used to get out of the pool. Maybe that's why I didn't get a cold.
Yeah.
Whatever. we pay for that. So, and and like, how different is the training? How different is it training from triathlon to swimming? Of course, you also have like the swimming part, which you can take a little bit. But how different it is, your water training to the pool training, and everything else, with including cycling and running, because I think this is like the biggest part of the routine in triathlon, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So, well, the thing is, even the swim is completely different. So, it's not the same as pool swimming. Open water is a completely different sport. So even though I kind of thought, oh, okay, well, I'll be able to nail the swim, it's taken a lot of practice and a lot of getting used to actually knowing how to do open water, how to sight, how to actually follow the buoys and not swim off in the complete wrong direction, particularly when it's like wavy and just like, where on earth am I going? So that in itself has been a lot of getting used to. The bike was definitely a challenge, and that was probably the biggest challenge when I first started, because I hadn't ridden a bike since I was a kid. And you're suddenly riding on a road bike, which is like super twitchy, it moves all over the place.
It's very sensitive, isn't it?
Yeah, really sensitive. And then obviously you don't have, because I don't have 2 brakes because I've only got the one hand, so having the one brake on the one side and the gears all on the one side too. And so when you're going down like hills at crazy speeds, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what is this? And just, I was absolutely petrified, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, because I think you just, as you get older, you kind of don't really know, you lose your confidence a little bit with those kind of things, don't you?
You're just afraid to hurt yourself.
Yeah. Old woman.
Old people.
The run side of things, for me, because obviously swimming is absolutely no impact, you going into the run, is trying to get your bones as used to like running on hard surfaces. And so I've had a lot of shin problems in the first few years, and I still struggle now. Like, I've got to limit the amount of running I do. I just
like the shoulder problems with swimmers.
Exactly. I've just realised, though, I haven't actually really answered your question about the training being different. I've been telling you what's different about sport. So the training that's different is obviously you're trying to manage the three sports. So I probably do more hours, but because you're spreading it over 3 sports, I don't feel half as dead as I did when I was a swimmer. That zombie feeling, because in swimming you're just doing the same repetitive movement and you're using your arms and legs in the exact same way, whereas actually, even though I'm doing more training, it's over 3 completely different sports, so your body doesn't feel quite as screwed by just that one element.
Yeah, I get it. And did you get many, how can I say, many injuries, or some like, did you fall off the bike when you were starting or whatsoever, this kind of stuff?
Yeah, so my first World Championships, actually, I was doing pretty well. I came out the swim and I was in a pretty good position. And then I was on the bike, and suddenly it was really, really wet day. It was a really horrible, wet, cold day in Rotterdam. And so the roads were really skiddy. And a guy, I could hear him coming up behind me, and he was like, oh, and then he said some swear words. And the next thing I knew, I was literally flying over the top of my bike into a barrier. And
I actually think I remember that.
Yeah. I was all like battered and bruised, and my bike was literally in pieces. So I had one wheel completely off, the other wheel was bent. My derailleur, which is like a part of the bike, was completely like broken. Well, it was bent, sorry, in pieces. So the thing is, in triathlon, you're not really allowed to get outside assistance, so you have to go and try and fix it yourself, but you've got to run to the aid station. So I had to like run with my bike and my wheel in my hand.
Was that in a competition?
Yeah, so this was at World Champs.
Oof.
So yeah, but I managed to finish the race, and I was in quite a lot of pain and definitely running on adrenaline. I was kind of crying / laughing / what on earth has just gone on.
Now you can laugh, but at the time I think it was quite hard.
Because obviously I'd never, in swimming, you're in such a safe environment. Like the worst thing that can happen is somebody hits you in the eye and your goggle, like, you know, or they hit you over
Get
the head.
water in the water.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it's so safe. Whereas in triathlon, there's so many things that can happen. You know, in a race you can get a puncture, you can fall off, you can all sorts of things like that. So yeah, I've definitely had quite a few experiences. I got my wetsuit stuck once, so I had to like rip it open like the Hulk, and I was like
felt very powerful. Bring it on there.
The thing is though, I was trying to do like a Hulk impression, and then I was like, this is not ripping. So I was like, how the hell do I get out of this wetsuit? And nobody can help me. So I was like,
so you actually have to switch your wetsuits to your compressions. But do you swim with the compressions inside already, or you switch it while you're like? Yeah,
you definitely don't just suddenly like take off your wetsuit and you're naked.
Oh no, of course I know. But like, all right, okay, makes sense.
Yeah, no, so it's underneath. So you will run out of the sea or the water, whatever you're swimming in, and you'll be undoing your wetsuit as you go. Hand goggles off. You've got to put it all in a box. Get your wetsuit off as quickly as possible, and then onto the bike. And then obviously when you come off the bike, change from your bike shoes into your run shoes, and then you go. So yeah, it's quite technical.
And what was the longest distance and the shortest distance competition that you ever made?
So it's actually all the same competition. It's all the same distance. So it's always a 750 meter swim, a 5k, a 20k bike, and a 5k run. Obviously, there's sometimes slight differences in the courses, but that is the set routine of what it should be.
When you mean like in difference in the course, you mean like hills, up hills, down hills, and this kind of stuff? So
yeah, and sometimes like the swim will be a little bit short, or the run will be like 4 kilometers instead of 5, or the bike will be longer or shorter. So because obviously it depends on where they started, and just getting a nice little loop around the city centre or the town or wherever you're competing.
And about conditions, like, do they have any like rules that allows the competition happens or not? Like, if it's windy, like 20 knots of wind, they're gonna ship the competition and move to another day, or they still run?
Do you know what? I'm not actually sure with wind, because I've been to quite a few races and it's been pretty dangerous wind, like particularly Rotterdam. Actually, that one race I was talking about, that was super like gusty wind, and it was a crosswind, so it was quite scary. But they have a rule where you then wouldn't be allowed to use a disc wheel, which is like a flat.
I get it. I understand.
Because obviously that would just make you really move across. There's certain rules with water temperature and water quality. So if it's not at a certain temperature, you can't do the swim element. So it just turned into a duathlon, which is a bike and a run. And obviously Tokyo this year that happened. So the water quality wasn't good enough. So we had to do a run, bike, run, which was pretty hard.
At the test event?
Yes, at the test event. Which obviously, fingers crossed for next year, it will definitely be a triathlon. But yeah, the water quality at that point was not to the standard, so they had to can the swim, which is hard, especially when that's one of your elements that you're pretty stronger at.
Mm-hmm. And like, what is your training routine now? like in comparison to swim? Like you used to say that you used to like 7K in 10 sessions a week, and 10
Yeah.
sessions a week, and like what is the biggest difference in training wise in comparison to swimming to triathlon now?
So swimming, I still do like four or five sessions a week, but they're like 75 minutes to 90 minutes. And they'd be very like aerobic kind of base, so quite long. So we do about 4K. So you kind of fit it all in and get out. The bike I do about 10 hours, 9 to 10 hours. So yeah, so you
A
do
week or a day?
a week.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so I'll do like one. Yeah, that'll be a lot. I do like one 3 hour ride a week, and then I do, you know, a session which would be like 2 hours, and that would include like real intense efforts. And then I do like a shorter, sprintier one, and then another long aerobic ride. And then I run 4 times a week, and drills are included in that. And then I also do gym twice a week. So it's pretty full on, and it's a lot to fit in, but you kind of, in swimming you have like massive gaps through your day, don't you? You swim in early in the morning and then late in the afternoon. Like generally in triathlon you kind of train 3 times a day, so you just don't have as much recovery, but
This is more
slightly more
intense.
intense. Yeah, well, but the thing is, swimming is probably more intense in the sense that it's, well, I was training for a sprint event like yourself, whereas triathlon is endurance, so actually a lot
It's
more
a
of
different kind of pain, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Like I'd never get to the same intensities that I did in swimming when you really, you know, top end in the pool. Like it would be more like just below that generally, because you do a bit of top end, but not to the same extent in swimming. So the
Yeah,
fatigue probably isn't the same.
I get it. And like, how is your training routine with this COVID-19 situation at the moment? What you've been up to and what you've been able to do?
Yeah, so I suppose that's where I'm so thankful that I'm not a swimmer anymore, because I think for you guys it must have been so tough not being able to do anything other than gym. And I think that I don't know how I would have dealt with that. Whereas actually I suppose it's given me a chance to really focus on my running and my cycling. So I've still probably been doing similar, if not more, on the bike and the run. Trying to find home gym was pretty impossible. Everybody decided
It's
they were going to
very
come. Yeah, everybody did some big
boring.
range, and you couldn't get anything, and you're like, ugh. And then we did get a paddling pool in the back garden, but you know what it's like. It's pretty chilly in the UK, so 13 degrees in the water, and I was like, this. I know exactly.
Well, at least you have a wetsuit.
Yeah, but still, Felipe, it's still blooming chilly.
I'm trying to help you.
My lips were like, but no, really, luckily, we are back to some swimming now. A certain few that are hoping to go to Tokyo have been allowed to get into the pools. So really grateful for that, and just makes you realize like how much you appreciate it and how much you love it, and you'll never ever moan about going to a swimming pool again, because you're
I
like
know.
so lucky to
And,
be
and
there.
like in the UK, when you had the lockdown announcement,
Yeah.
what was your reaction actually like about training wise? What were you able to do and what you wanted? How was like how did that change your lifestyle like at that
Yeah,
point?
I think it was really strange actually, because I'm the kind of person, and I think you're quite similar. You love training with people, and you love being around people, and love being part of a group and that team. And I hated kind of training on my own, and I did a lot outside rather than indoors. But we were kind of advised not to go out on the bike and train indoors, just in terms of like not stressing the National Health Service. So I did a lot more of my cycling inside and on my own, and it was actually quite good to learn how to be on my own and be okay with myself and be good at training alone. So in one sense, it's been quite good for me. And yeah, I think it was weird, and it was kind of like a bit of a novelty, and I quite enjoyed the fact that I didn't have to get in the car all the time and travel to training. But then that quite quickly wore off, and I was like, right, I'm ready to get back and see all my teammates and actually be training with people a little bit more.
That's cool. And like and what was the highlight of your triathlon career?
My highlight of my triathlon career. So it have to be this year winning my world champs. I was having an absolute shocker in the race. I was way behind in the swim. And I remember getting out of swimming. I was like, right, the race is over. I'm clearly really jet lagged from just coming back from Japan, from the Tokyo test event. I was like, do you know what? Just, it's fine. Doesn't matter. It's just a bad race. And then slowly managed on the bike. I was a good 2 minutes behind. And then managed to catch up slowly on each lap. I think it was a 5-lap bike course and it was hilly, so it suited me quite well because I'm quite light. So yeah, each lap, the time difference was getting slightly less. And I was catching up to Lauren Steadman, who's obviously the other Brit. And by the time we got onto the run, we were together, running literally head for head the whole way until I saw the blue carpet, which is obviously like our finishing line. And I was like, right, okay, it's time to go. And having sprint legs or sprint kind of sort of sprint to me from swimming.
The last 15 meters is
Exactly.
is all or nothing.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'm going. So yeah, I managed to get away from her and celebrated a little bit too early. I celebrated and I was like, I haven't actually crossed the line yet. What if you fall over? So I was like, oh no. So I was like, because I've seen it happen before where people have like celebrated and then tripped or something and somebody's gone by them. So
Yeah, I've seen some videos like that as well, and like, ugh, that just, I really wouldn't want to be that person.
no, well, exactly. And I think the thing for me is it kind of, it was the fact that I kept my head, because it would have been quite easy to lose it. And you know, so much can happen in a triathlon where it's not the same as swimming. Like swimming is just so quick and it's marginal of a second, you know, milliseconds. Whereas in triathlon, so much can happen in that race and you just can't give up until you finish on that line.
Yeah, and like I believe every single sport, you know, like it only finishes when you cross the line on all the whistle goes,
exactly.
you know, like you still have that last hundredth of a second. You know, that can make a difference.
But also, you never know, somebody could get disqualified, something like anything can happen in a race. And
anything can happen in a race, yeah, that's right.
Like you say.
And we talked about the good things, and like now we're gonna talk, what was the hardest moment and the toughest moment of your entire career, including triathlon and swimming? What was the hardest decision you had to make? What was the toughest moment in your career?
It would definitely be Beijing. I went in ranked #1 in the world, and kind of put so much pressure on myself. And I had a lot of pressure, I think, from other people too. It's the first time I'd ever been ranked #1, and I'd given up everything. I put off going to university. I felt like I was, you know, making sure I ate the right food. I did every little bit extra to make sure I was in the best place possible coming to Beijing. And then got there and suddenly somebody new on the start list, Alessia, a Russian girl, and I kind of panicked and I lost my head a little bit because it was the complete unknown. I didn't know anything about her, and I knew she was obviously a brilliant swimmer from what I'd seen, and I started almost worrying too much about her. So then I got her obviously into the pool and meant to be winning that gold medal, and I walked away with the bronze, which for me at that time was like a really big failure. And it wasn't at all, because actually a bronze medal at the Paralympic Games is still an incredible achievement. But I think when you are ranked #1, and because I lost my head and underperformed completely, I saw it as I should have done more, and I don't think I could have beaten her, but I could have got that silver medal or whatever. So that was really hard to take, but it taught me so much about myself, and I definitely learned a lot from that experience. And you know, she is an absolutely phenomenal athlete. So, and it's the way sport is, isn't it? It's black and white. It's who wins on that day and who is the best athlete.
Who's the best athlete? Is the best that you can perform that day.
Yeah, exactly.
And like it happened to me as well. And like sometimes you're just in the good day, but you still have to do it at that day.
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
changes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It can be so frustrating because you're like, well, I know I'm better than that, and I know I can perform more, But I think I realized I was pretty scared of failing. I was scared of not getting that gold medal, and, you know, so focused on the gold that I actually didn't really know how I was going to do it. And so it was a really important lesson to learn. And I think if I had have won the gold medal then, would I still be here today, still competing? Maybe not, because I might have achieved everything I wanted to achieve. So I believe that those kind of things happen for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. That's what I always used to say.
It's such a cheesy thing, but it's true. And I feel like it gets me through life, so I have to say it.
Well, believe it or not, like you said, it's a cheesy thing, but still, it's very true, you know, because you never know. Like it can be it can be perfect today, but tomorrow it can be very bad.
Yeah.
So you never know what can happen. You know, like one day it's just so weird.
You just got to embrace every moment, don't you? And actually, and that, I think that's one of the biggest things, and you'll probably know the same thing, is when those moments don't happen, you've still got to enjoy it, because actually our sporting career is so short-lived. And actually, I know that I just let Beijing go by and I didn't particularly enjoy it. Whereas how many times are you going to get to go to the Paralympic Games? Like, it's an incredible experience, and you just think, okay, you didn't get what you wanted, but still, this is incredible. And actually enjoy the moment and enjoy the ride.
Exactly. I think that's what you did with London, and as I did as well with Rio. You know, like have a Paralympic Games in our home is something very unique. And we might as well just take the most of it, enjoy the best, and like just live that moment. You know?
Yeah, but it's so easy to not. That's the problem. It's so easy to get like caught up in all the emotions and, you know,
the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure, exactly. Rather than, it's an incredible thing that we'll never get to experience again, like a home game. So you want to absorb that, and I definitely say that to like all the Japanese athletes is, you know, Tokyo next year, soak up every little ounce of it and really, you know, appreciate how amazing it is.
Very true. Now we're gonna talk about travels. I know you, and I know you love traveling as well.
Do.
I like traveling as well, but I believe you do like traveling more than I do. And and sometimes after competitions you do go like traveling with your boyfriend, and like, can you tell us a little bit what is the criteria you take to pick some places, what you want to do? And like, for example, Rio, you said you spent some time in Brazil, like to figure out what you're gonna do after swimming, and with that trip you just decided to go to triathlon. So tell us a little bit more about your Brazilian trip, for example, like first.
Brazil was incredible. I loved Brazil so much. Like, often, you know, you get people being like, oh my gosh, it's so dangerous, but the people are amazing. They're so friendly, and they couldn't help you enough. And you're not included in that.
Oh man.
No, of course you're not. But no, I loved Brazil. It's just such a beautiful place, and the beaches are incredible. The people are really nice. The food is really good. But yeah, no, I love traveling, and that's one of the amazing things about triathlon. I get to travel to so many places. You know, this year I was meant to be in 10 countries. Obviously that has not happened. But also I'm lucky that I get to spend it with Dave, because also he's a triathlete, so we get to travel the world together. But yeah, I try to, if I'm in a country, I try to embrace the culture and go and see as much as I can. And particularly after a competition, you know, I love staying on and seeing stuff. So, you know, after Tokyo, it'd be amazing to see a little bit of Tokyo afterwards. It's just right now there's not much traveling going on, so I just spent the weekend in Norfolk, actually, in England, and I never really go on holiday in England, but it was actually really nice to see some of the country. And we do have a beautiful country. It's just, unfortunately, the weather is not always that good. So
well, I'm very. What can I say about the weather in the UK?
Yeah.
And like,
Ilha Grande was my favorite place in Brazil, though.
Which one?
Ilha Grande.
Ilha Grande.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's really pretty there.
Yes,
it's really pretty. Yeah, it's really pretty. And like, what was the most different country that you ever been like in holiday-wise and traveling holiday-wise, you know, like that you actually felt like, wow, whoa,
This
you
is
know, like,
completely different. Probably,
yeah.
to be fair, like China for Beijing was pretty different. Sri Lanka is incredible. That is probably one of my favorite countries. It's just absolutely amazing. The only thing is over there, it's not, people don't really understand about disability, and I constantly had questions about, oh, what happened to your arm? What happened to your arm? Oh, and it was very much in a caring way. They weren't doing it in a malicious way at all. But I was just getting frustrated because I was like, how many times can I explain? But, and then in the end was just like, it got bitten off by a crocodile down there.
So you actually started to embrace
Yeah,
the
exactly.
jokes.
Yeah, but no, incredible place, and definitely my favorite place to travel. But yeah, there's so many places on my bucket list to go: Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, all of those. I'd love to explore more.
Which one is the top of the list that you like a place that you've never been and you always wanted to be? Like, which one is the one?
Either India or Vietnam.
India or Vietnam? I thought
Yeah.
you've been to Vietnam.
No, Liz has been, but I haven't been.
Oh
I
yeah,
really
she
want
went
to
with
go.
Ellie,
Yeah,
didn't she? Oh
yeah,
yeah,
no,
of course.
I really, really want to go there.
And like overall, how many countries can you say that you've been so far?
Oh gosh, good question. I have no clue. I literally wouldn't be able to tell you. I might have to work it out. I'll like draw down all the places I've been to. How many have you been to?
Me?
Yeah,
About countries?
yeah,
21.
that's pretty good going.
That's all right. There's
Yeah,
220 more to go.
yeah. But yeah, just think how many times you've probably been to a lot of those as well. Like how many times you've been to
Yeah, you're right. Like I keep checking my passport, you know, and like I've got 3 pages left.
uh
But 90% of this, 80% of the stamps is the UK border, because I'm always there, right? So
we need to mix this up a little bit.
yeah, and sometimes every time I go there, I like the border officer. He comes to me and he goes like, "You come here quite often?" I just can't say no because he will see my passport and he will just look at all these stamps, you know.
You're
So
like, there's a reason I come here.
yeah, there's a reason. And like, let me see, what else can I ask you? So, what is your plans for the? Have you got any plans for after Tokyo? Do you still want to carry on triathlon, or do you want to like have a time off? Do you want to retire? So, what's the next plans
Yeah, I
in
think
your triathlete career?
obviously originally, if you asked me 3 years ago, I was retiring after Tokyo, but I was also retiring after London, Rio, and every time I'm like, actually no, I still love this, and particularly in triathlon, like I'm still so new into it, and I'm still improving. That I'm like, actually, I've got to carry on a little bit longer. So I really want to go to Paris. Obviously, I'll take it year by year, month by month, and as long as I'm still enjoying it, I definitely will. I was planning to have quite a good break after Tokyo, but obviously with it moving a year later, it makes it slightly harder to have. I'll still have a break, but maybe not quite as long as I was planning to have, because it's just a 3-year cycle rather than a 4-year
4 year cycle, yeah.
So yeah, it kind of threw a little bit of a spanner in the works in my plan in that sense, but I suppose there's ways of traveling, isn't there, and doing things, still being an athlete. Like, you know, I might go and live in another country for a while and just embrace living over somewhere else and training at the same time. I don't really know. I need to think about it more, because obviously so much has changed in the last few months, and so much is still up in the air that you almost don't really want to make plans, do you? Because you're just like,
Yeah, very true.
planned out, and then suddenly it's gone just like that.
That's cool.
Will you carry on after Tokyo?
Like you know, year by year and see how it goes. But I definitely don't want to take swimming as seriously as I've been taking for the past, I don't know, 20 years, you know.
Yeah.
So, but, so yeah, quick last question.
I feel like this is going to be something mean, that like cheeky thing.
Of course not. Of course not. I'm just trying to pretend. Can I? uh,
You know too
tell
much
us,
about me. I don't know what it's going to be.
can you share with us two of the funniest moments in your swimming career and in the triathlete career? One of each. The fun, like if you say if someone if I'm asking you, what was the funniest thing you ever saw or you ever lived in swimming and in triathlon? Can you tell him?
Oh my
Can
gosh,
you
there's
tell me
so
one?
many funny moments, but so many of them are not really that appropriate. Oh gosh,
Yeah, try to filter a little bit, please.
could say lots of things about you, Felipe. I suppose. Oh, come on, think of something, Claire. Think of something. I literally can't think of anything that can be said.
So everything is very inappropriate.
Yeah, all the funny moments happen at the nights out after the Paralympics was finished, and
as long as there is no swearing words and something really, really, really bad happening. Go. Well, you can tell us like also you can think for a bit, but like tell us three party buddies that could never miss in your night out.
Three who? What? Sorry.
Three party buddies.
Three party buddies. Oh, you can't only give me three. I feel like I need a good few. Got the girl posse around. You got to, Kate Gray, Liz Johnson, Rachel Latham. Obviously, they're all old school. Charlotte Henshaw. I can't limit it to three.
Carry on then.
You've also got to have some of the countries. Sophie Pascoe is always really good on a night out. You can always rely on her for some good fun.
Have you ever been to a night out where you didn't actually remember what happens in the past 2 days?
No, yeah. No, I remember London. I don't think I went to bed for like 4 nights afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, we literally, I think myself and Rhiannon and Henry literally got like 2 hours sleep most nights, and then we'd be up again. And yeah, I know. I couldn't do that now. I'm far too old for that business.
Far too old. How old are you? 25?
Oh, are you being serious? I'm like 32, Felipe, but I like you.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm younger than you.
But I'm super happy you said 25. This face is clearly not looking too old yet.
True that, very true. That's what sports do to us. So it is what it is. And like, think about a moment that you had all these girls together. And can you share us one experience, a funny experience?
Ellie, I forgot about Ellie Simmons also. She's cracking on it.
Oh my god.
She's the best. She definitely.
Yeah, she knows how to party. Yeah.
I think after Rio there was definitely a lot of wine being supplied, and yeah, who knows what happened. I think I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not going to say because I feel like it's not my place to say.
So you're gonna make everybody here watching us curious about it.
Exactly. It's a mystery. They'll never know.
What happens? Yeah. What happens there stays there.
Exactly.
I know. Nobody asked me that, so it's fine as well. I'm not gonna judge you. It's all right. Let's erase this question.
Yeah. It's a really hard question though, actually, because there's so many funny moments, but you kind of maybe even nobody else would find it funny, or it's something that's maybe not appropriate to tell everybody on Instagram. So you're like,
fair enough. Which place you had your best party? Was it London or?
Yeah, London.
Just tell us the place. That's fine.
So I can't even remember where we went. It was that. Do you remember the bar? Were you not there? Yeah, you were. Yeah, but you just don't remember it because I remember the taxi ride home, and it was.
You got a taxi. I went back in the tube.
Did you? Gosh.
Yeah.
Saving some money there. Always saving the pennies, please.
Always saving money. You know what it's like. You're very good in saving money as well.
like to find a bargain.
Exactly. Cool. We're just reaching the end here. Thank you so much, Claire.
No,
for the time that you took for us. Really appreciate that. It was really good. Like I was saying at the beginning, I know you for so long, but there were so many things also that I didn't know about you. It was really good to know.
Hopefully I didn't bore you too much with my long stories.
Nah, it's fine. I hope I didn't made you boring. I hope I didn't make you bored. That's fine. I'm used to long story because my girlfriend is, and you know her. You know also that she likes to talk a lot.
She definitely does. More, she talks more than me. She puts me to shame, to be fair.
Yeah. And thank you so much, and I hope your training goes well.
Thank
and
you.
I hope to see you in November. No, October.
I was gonna say, gosh.
October.
Liz, there she is. She's commenting.
I hope to see you guys in October.
Yes, me too.
And keep training hard, and I'm definitely looking forward to see the next achievements from your career, and I believe everybody here as well. Do you have any message to say to everybody here before we wrap it up?
Thank you very much for listening. If you ever have any questions or anything you want to ask, please feel free to contact me via my own social media. I'm more than happy to answer anything.
She's famous, but guys, just keep that in mind. So thank you so much, guys. Just remember to stay safe. I know we're in a hard moment right now with this whole COVID situation, but don't make it easy right now, as the things are starting to get softer, and because we want to get back in our routine as soon as we can. So keep yourself safe, work on your hygiene, of course, and if you go out, wear a mask, you know, so just be careful everywhere you go. Okay, guys? Thank you so much, Claire, once again, on behalf of Paralympics, the Paralympics Instagram, social media, and it was really fun to have you here, and I'm looking forward to see you next time.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.